I'm Lydia Rackham, and I'm doing books from a candy dish. I just take a title, a random title that I've written down of one of my books that's in here, and I talk about it for 10 minutes. It's just off the cuff. Some of these I haven't thought about in a really long time, so it's a fun little thing. Okay, so I'm gonna pick one. Okay, what did I get? Tenebrae. Okay, the web of Tenebrae. Okay, all right. Let's see. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, so the web of Tenebrae. Okay, long ago, in a galaxy far, no, well, close, yes, not so far away galaxy. Um, I've always been a Star Wars fan. Um, like I've loved Star Wars, but my mom, all growing up, she was a Trekkie, and she loved the original series of Star Trek, and so we, my brother and I, always knew about Star Trek. We knew about Captain Kirk and Spock and all of that. And then we also, he and I like to watch The Next Generation a little bit. But we always had a special affection for the originals. And my mom's favorite Star Trek movie is, I think it's called Voyage Home, and it's with the one with the whales because it's funny. But I like a lot of the Star Trek, the original Star Trek films, except for the one with V'ger. Anyway, so when they made the new Star Treks with Chris Pine, of course we went to see them, and we loved it. Loved the first one, thought it was great, loved it. I love Zachary Quinto. I think he's fantastic. I loved him in Heroes. So we really liked that. And so, of course, we were going to see the next one. And the next one, we saw it in a big theater, and it was the first time that I had ever seen Benedict Cumberbatch. And that changes your life. When you see him for the first time, everybody remembers the first thing they saw Benedict Cumberbatch in, because he's just, it's the same as Tom Hiddleston. They're just Shakespearean because they're so good. So I don't think I breathed through his whole part where he was telling everybody, he was telling Kirk and Spock what had happened to him, and him right there in that black suit and in that cell with just the glass, gave birth to a character. And at first I was going to write a fan fiction. I was going to write a con fan fiction, but then I thought, wait, the only thing that this really has is, I mean, as I developed the idea, I was like, this does not have to be con. And in fact, I would like it better if he was a lot less, if he was more innocent, I guess, like not, he hadn't done anything. Like, what if he had been a superhuman, but hadn't been allowed to have any life experience? And so, and then obviously, what's the counterbalance to that is, so he's like physically and mentally perfect, but he hasn't had any experience. So what's the counter to that? The counter to that is someone who is physically weak, but has had more life experience. And so that breeds the story. So he obviously has to, I have to establish who he is. So in that one, he's a subject of a genetic experiment, and there are lots of them like him. But he is going to, all of the rest of them, they have experimented on them to try to cure diseases, but they've been killed in the process because whatever has taken over the earth is an ideology that human life isn't really that valuable, and humans can belong to other people if there's science involved. So you can make people, and then if you make them, then you can do it whatever you want with them. And so that's what he is. And he has made it through a lot of the tests, so he has become extremely strong in addition to his natural strength. And he's also extremely intelligent. But he's on his way to an experiment that will they're going to push him until he dies. And the guy who's taking care of him, who looks after him, knows this. And he's the only one who's ever treated him like a human. And so as they're flying over past an abandoned prison planet, his friend helps him escape. Just kind of like letting a bird go. It's like, you're on your own. That's all I can do for you. So developing the prison planet was really cool. Because it's all abandoned, but it's mechanized because this is sci-fi. And at the heart of it is a woman who was captured, and she is plugged in to the security system so that the whole planet feels like an extension of her body, and she can open and close doors, and she can sense when things are going on throughout the whole thing. She's got the whole thing in her mind, but this is not a willing thing, that she was plugged in because a human brain is and always will be superior to any computer. And so she's been plugged into this thing and given anti-aging serums. But as our experiment guy works his way through this planet, he eventually works his way into her and sets her loose from this. But, of course, she can barely walk because when they abandoned the prison planet because of a revolt of the prisoners, they left her there. So it's just the two of them on this planet. And it's parts of it are a little bit like that, like that movie called Poseidon Adventure, and it was remade like Poseidon, of where that cruise ship flipped over. So parts of this are like that, because parts of the prison have been flooded, and so they have to swim through these like hallways under the that part, writing that, still even thinking about that makes me hold my breath. That was a really stressful but really cool thing to write. I'd never written anything like that, where people had to, they had to do breathing exercises before they went under the water, because it's real cold water and it's dark, and there's just like a light here and a light there barely, and it's really, they go down and they have to turn and go through this dark room that's like a storage room, and then up and then to another set of stairs. That part was but there's just a lot of they're just exploring and trying to find their way through this labyrinth of an abandoned prison planet, and all the while getting to know each other, because you don't really get to know him as him beforehand. I leave this whole thing is like an onion being peeled on both of them. You find out about them through each other finding out about them. But of course, he is extremely valuable. He cost a lot. And so people are not going to just let him escape. So his owners are going to try to get him. But little does everybody know, there's also another force in the galaxy. There's another group of people out there that are they left Earth, kind of like the America's founding fathers did. They left and they want to start they colonized another planet and they want to start anew. So that's kind of another group that will enter into that story. But if you love if this is the most sci-fi book I've ever written. It's very science fiction-y, but it's character driven as always. I don't like stories, frankly, that are driven by technology. I would rather have them be driven by the characters and finding out about them and learning, because really, to me, it doesn't matter where you set a person. If they're in the way past or the way future, they're people. And so what is it that's universally human, no matter where you are or what time period you live in? You'll be able to get to know these people and get fond of them and kind of worry about what's going to happen to them, because it is an adventure. It is a survival adventure like I have never written before. So I know you'll love that